If I was only able to send this beat to one artist, I'd probably pick Drake for it. But let's get into making the rest of this beat. So a couple of days ago, I was doing sound design and I needed to create a few more pianos for that new analog lab bank I'll be dropping soon. And when I did that, I came up with this melody right here and I was like, this could be a really cool tutorial. So I just recorded this real quick. And then when I was playing it back, I started hearing like a top line melody in my head for like a vocal. And I was like, well, I can't sing. I'm not good at that. But if I got a reference track and sent it over to my boy Daniel, this might go crazy. So I actually brought it up by 2 semitones, but if I go right here, shift down arrow twice, we get to what I actually played, and let me show you. And then I was walking around, I just started humming a melody, and I was like, hold on. Da, 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 da. Right, so something like that, and I was like, let me record this real quick, it's gonna sound really bad. And I was like, but let me throw some EQ on it, and then let me throw some reverb on it, and it's gonna sound really bad, but let me go back and throw some auto tune on it, and it's still gonna sound bad. But if I bring it up by an octave and I send it over to Daniel and send me back something that's a million times better, and that's what he did. How quickly did you write the second 2 lines? Because when you sent that vocal back to me, like the second 2 lines, I was like, bro, like this fool, like it was so quick. And then like the 2 lines fit perfectly. And then you even had like the melody kind of like just go different. Like how fast did that like,
Da, 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 da.
yeah, like how quick did you like, oh, I already know?
I mean, not to like brag or anything, but I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You've just been doing it for so long, right? It's just
Yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well,
See,
and the
that's
way it works too is like I just sit there and mumble. Like I'll just hit replay, replay, mumble, mumble. Like that's trash, that's trash. And then I just like try to harness my inner Drake for that little da, 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 da. I
yeah.
was like, what would Drake do? And then I was like, that's it.
So I got Daniel's vocal in here. This is the one that isn't processed, and then this is the one he sent over that is processed. We're gonna use this one, but I just want you to hear this one because it just sounds really good. So I'm gonna let them play both so you can see like what it sounded like with what he recorded versus with the processing that he sent over that just matches the beat perfectly.
You spent your time with me, feelings confined. I spent my life chasing a love that died. You said you loved me, now I'm alone. Now I'm alone, baby, I'm all alone.
You spent your time with me, feelings confined. I spent my life chasing a love that died. You said you loved me, now I'm alone. Now I'm alone, baby, I'm all alone.
Bro, it's so sad. It's perfect. So we got this, right? This sounds cool. Now I want to take the MIDI and probably like layer in a pad with this, maybe add a lead, then export all of that, drop it down a couple of semitones, and then get into the drums. And to just explain the chords real quick, if you look over, this first chord is just a 7th chord. 1, skip a note here, skip a note here. This is our triad, and then we hit right here. It's going to be our 7th chord right there. And then up here, I just have like a little melody going with a C sharp down to a B. And then for the 2nd chord, we drop down to an F sharp. So we could just take this right here, drop here, and I just played a triad. So skip a note here, place, skip a note, place. And then I went ahead and sharpened the C sharp, and that just brings us right here. These 2 notes are going to be tension, which is giving us that nice tension that we're hearing in it. And it's a nice contrast from this over here. I went into my Loveless Analog Lab Bank and I got Soft Pluck 1 to layer with the piano. If you need an analog lab bank that's perfect for R&B and trap, so this is gonna be the one. There's a lot of pianos and stuff in here as well. The piano we're actually using for this beat is in an analog lab bank that isn't out yet, but it's almost done. So this pluck by itself sounds like this. So first up is this reverb. Next up is Shaper Box 3. This is the preset right here, and all I did was switch it over to the sine. Then I got an EQ cutting out a whole bunch of low end and shelving out a whole bunch of high end, which will probably end up doing a little bit more. Let me bring everything back in first. Let's put the EQ first. Reverb last. What I'm going to do real quick to keep this simple is just go ahead and export this out. So I'm going to hit Control A, Control Alt C. All right, for mode, you're going to want to make sure you're in Stretch or Stretch Pro. And let's bring it down by 2 semitones. Let's go get some drums. Let's go into Broken Hearts drum kit and just get a few drums that will sound good. That snare always sounds cool. Let's get probably kick 3. Yep. All right, let me figure out which one to use, and then we'll get into actually making the drums. Maybe do that over here. For the 808s, I switched them up a little bit. I got rid of that note at the end that dropped down to C, and I just added in like some spacing right here, so when the kicks hit, we have the 808 cut off right here. To make sure it works in the 808, you just need to have your attack all the way down, sustain all the way up, and then release all the way down. I actually want to pitch this down one more. Let's try down by 300. Oh man, I don't know which one. Let's get the kicks in. Make sure this is on record, like the last tutorial where I didn't have it on record. All right, so I did a little bit of arranging. The only thing I really switched was this bass right here. I utilized a different bass for this part, so we got bass 1. I also added in that rim. It's following the same rhythm as the snare, so it's all the same notes just copied over. And then right here, I cut out the bass and the rim, and I add in the hi-hat just for a little bit. But what I did was throw it into the effects that pad was originally on, so it was EQ, reverb, and the shaper box, and it did like this cool little build up to it that drops into like the rest of the beat. I actually did ask Daniel to send me over like a part of him playing the chord progression but on like an acoustic guitar and singing it and make it sound like kind of like lo-fi-ish. I had told him if he could send that over, that at the end of the tutorial I'll throw it in and see if it works. I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but I'm just gonna leave it like this. All right, so it's gonna go from the ending of like, I don't know, drums, and then cut out to like the vocal part right here. And like I said, that's just like your dry vocal brought up an octave with reverb, and then that acoustic one you sent me, I threw it there. So somehow it's gonna end like this. I haven't done like the actual arrangement, but it'll be the first time we're actually hearing if that acoustic outro like works. It's the first time we tried it. It wasn't. So let's see.
Yeah, that's sick.
Please work.
I'd say that works, bro. That's fire.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like when it's processed too and like it's arranged correctly.
Yeah.
It just got 10 times more sadder.
Yeah.
So it worked, man. That first original idea with the melody and then having Daniel just do his thing and go crazy on this. It just sounds so good. Shout out to Daniel Saint Music for collabing with me on this. I have a link to his channel in the description below, so make sure to go check him out. Appreciate you watching. If you want the Broken Hearts drum kit or the Loveless Analog Lab Bank, there will be a link to those in the description as well. Also, make sure to join the Discord. Let's hear the full beat.
You spent your time with me, feelings confirmed. I spent my life chasing all of the dark.